Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of Writers Talk. My name is Alex Gryczanowski and I'm the managing editor at the Daily Nebraskan. Every 2 weeks you will hear from a reporter at the Daily Nebraskan what they're working on and why they do what they do so well. So today we're here with a reporter who is the DN's jack of all trades. He started out as a news reporter, but now also writes for sports and has written a culture story and is a host for our Sideline Pulse sports podcast. Meet Logan Moseley.
Hello.
Yes. Do you want to tell us your major, what your role is at the DN, and then your year in school?
So I am a triple major in journalism, broadcast journalism, and sports media communications. I'm a sophomore. Like you said, I cover news, I cover sports, and just kind of do whatever I can.
Perfect. And then, so what are some of the stories that you've been working on this semester?
So I have a very busy schedule at school, so I like to do things, set up weekly stories. That's the best way for me to make sure that it gets done and the content gets out. So I have 3 recurring stories where I have my PFF grades, an analysis from the Nebraska football games, and then I have the weekly crime log, and then I have the Around the Big Ten recap for football, just to, kind of throw myself out there with more than just Nebraska.
That's perfect. Okay, and then Logan, you write about the Husker football's PFF grades, as you just mentioned, pretty regularly. So for those who aren't really well-versed in sports, like me, and then can you explain just what PFF grades are and then just also share your reporting process on that? Because I know those stories are some of your big things that you focus on.
So the way the PFF is pro football focus, and just because it's pro football doesn't mean it's not anything. There's college. There's college if I'm writing about it. And what they do is they have a couple people watch every single game, and then they look at each play and each player and grade them on a play-by-play basis. And they get a score out of 0 out of 100, and then you just go from there. So what I do is I pay for the subscription, but it's been paying dividends because they're performing well enough that after a month, my subscription was already taken care of because of these stories, which was great. And they also have a student discount, which is even better. But I just take a look and see, who is performing well, who isn't, who do people think is performing well, who actually isn't, and who is performing well that maybe people are kind of dogging on for whatever reason. So it's not perfect, and you have to go in understanding that it's not perfect. But TJ Lateef comes in for Dylan Raiola, he gets a 29.4 grade out of 100. Terrible, not good at all. But you look at the statistics. He threw 7 passes for 7 yards. He fumbled the ball twice going out of bounds, and then fumbled a snap. Those kind of extra plays go into the grade, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, perfect. And then, so you also write a recurring university crime log, as you mentioned before, for the news section. So how do you kind of report on that? And then also, how do you determine what makes the cut for the crime log?
That's a good one. So sometimes, some weeks, nothing happens. And then it's just whatever I can find, I'll write about. Last week's crime log was 300 words because there wasn't anything going on, which was surprising. Yeah, Halloween weekend, nothing happened.
You'd think it wouldn't be that.
Yeah, everyone was getting drunk, and that was about it. That's to be expected. But sometimes you see a case, and you're like, okay, that's interesting. So through the Clery Act, UNL is required to post any set of crimes, make it easily accessible for any student to see what happened, and they come out with all these statistics and stuff like that. So I use that. And then Marty Farringer, the assistant chief of police at UNLPD, we have a meeting every Friday at about 1 o'clock. I call him up. I send him the list beforehand. I'm like, here's the case numbers. Here's what I'm going to inquire about. And sometimes if there's something that just sounds weird, like a traffic stop or like a minor in possession that is still open for whatever reason, I'll why is this case still open? Why, what are we doing here? Why is there a vandalism case that's inactive? Last year there was a vandalism case on East Campus. A generator went out. Just turns out it was just the wind. It's just you figure out, you find the fun stuff, you find the interesting stuff, but at the same time you expect it to be pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So what's been the craziest instant that you've seen reported on the crime log?
I think it was this week. So there was a guy outside the Leeds Center on a bike that didn't have a light, which I didn't know that you have to have a light on a bike.
Neither
Otherwise,
did I.
you can get you can get cited for that. So, UNLPD, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. They're like, "Where's your light at?" He's like, "I don't have one." And then they figure out that he's got a warrant. He's got meth. He's got a meth pipe in his bag.
Oh my god!
And he stole someone's wallet out of a car, and the person didn't even know that their wallet was stolen. Like
That is crazy.
All from
Just
a
like
bike outside
bike
the League
light,
Center
yeah.
at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. And then apparently I see from somebody else that they watched the whole thing happen, and then they went up to go give the UNLPD free Jersey Mike gift cards. Like, what are we doing? That wasn't on the police report. I wish that was on the police report. I would love to say
Yeah.
UNLPD
Add that
giving
in.
free Jersey Mikes, which by the time that happened, the coupon would have been expired. So either way,
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts, But it's really, really fun because there's we had some troubles at the beginning of the year getting it all sorted out, and there were some really interesting ones because there was like a fraud case. There was multiple fraud cases at Greek houses, which is weird. And I was looking today. There's a check that bounced at Sig Chi.
Oh.
They have to put that on there because it's forging a check at Sig Chi. And next week when I call Marty, I'm going to ask him, what's going on with this check at Sig Chi?
Yeah.
Why is this even being reported? And why is the case still open?
Yes. Many questions to be answered. Yeah. Yes. Okay, perfect. Well, I'm sure you've been wondering when this is going to get brought up. So let's talk about those steak nuggets from Arby's that you
So
recently
dry.
tried. Okay, so you did a little bit of a review on the steak nuggets for Culture, which you're not a Culture reporter. And now it's the most viewed story on the Daily Nebraskan's website.
I checked yesterday. It's got
over,
140,000
Oh
views now. It's
my
still
God.
getting thousands of views a week.
Yes, well, did you expect that to happen?
No. I remember. I think Justin brought it up. He's like, Arby's is coming out with steak nuggets. And this was before it even got released. It was just announced. I'm like, who's writing that story? I will write this story if we have to. And then weeks go by, they come out, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And then Vivian, it was either Vivian or Izzy goes, Logan, do you want to write a steak nuggets story? I'm like, of course I do. Of course I do. Why not? So then the next day, I go get the steak nuggets. I write the story. Me and Ben do a video. Jalen edits it. And, I don't expect anything of it. And then it
Next
just
day you check the
blows
analytics
up. Like 50,000 views in a day. I'm like, what the? So
Crazy.
dumb.
Yes. Yeah, I don't even have like checking the analytics for that story and seeing that it had over 100,000 views in just 1 weekend was crazy.
Yes, and then we have fall break right after, and we're coming in to do the high school press convention, and we're looking at the analytics, and it's 120,
Yeah.
and then I hear Alan in the office go, over 100,000? What the? And
Yeah.
there were some other words there. But
It was pretty crazy. Yeah, any plans to do any food reviews in the future?
I know that
since
there's
your
a-
recent success.
Yeah, I mean, famed culture writer Logan Moseley. There's a Baja Blast pie that I've been asked to join on. Jalen,
It
am
came
I?
out today.
Am I?
Well, November 6th.
Jalen, am I part of that? Okay. Yeah, so I'll be a part of that, and any weird food that I see, I'll make the sacrifice.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's circle back to some of your overall experience here at the Daily Nebraskan. So, what's been one of your favorite stories that you've written this year, just of all time?
I will always have a soft spot for feature stories about athletes because I feel like people don't often realize that they are people at the end of the day. Like, they are a regular person. Either the feature story I did on Emmett Johnson against Minnesota or Sierra Wright against USC. I think one of those two, because both of those guys, their revenge game through their own way, but the way that both guys played before the game and then during that game too, like Emmett Johnson had a little bit of a down game against Minnesota, but wasn't his fault. He just wasn't getting the ball, but he was running the ball well. And then Sierra Wright was locked down against USC, against arguably one of the best wide receivers in the country. Like, I like seeing the mindset going into a big game. And, like, if I could, I would have a podcast just like this where I have a player come in down every single week and, like, big game, tell me about it, what's going on. People want to know, what are you doing? That's the type of stories that I like to write.
Yes, it's unfortunate that we don't have access to the athletes, but
I wish.
The stories are always great and they always do well.
Yeah.
So, yes. And then finally, just to like wrap it up, like what is one thing that you think our listeners should know about the Daily Nebraskan and you?
And me. There's a spot for everybody. Like, I came in with news, and I still like writing news stories, but sports has always been kind of the thing for me. So the fact that I was able to make that switch from news to sports and still be able to cover the news with the crime log and then cover the sports with, you know, random niche stuff like those, that's the great thing about this place is you get to write truly about whatever you want to write about. You get paid to do it. It's not great, but you get paid to do it, and you have a good time doing it. And that's I think more than anything, that's like the best part about this job is that I enjoy what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've met like so many friends just like working here at the Daily Nebraskan. Yes,
that's
it's
great.
It's a great experience.
Yeah,
I agree with what you said.
I came in to college. I went to Millard West High School. There's a bunch of people from Millard West that go to Lincoln, but my closest friends didn't go to Millard West. They came from wherever and whenever, and that's the best part. And that's what I love about this place. Yes.
Well, thank you for joining me today, and then also allowing our audience just to get to know you as a journalist with all of these crazy stories you've been working on. So today we heard from Logan Moseley, a sports and news reporter at the Daily Nebraskan. He's also a Sideline Pulse podcast host at the DN. So thank you for listening to this week's episode. This has been your managing editor, Alex Gryczanowski, and stay tuned in 2 weeks when we hear from multimedia and culture reporter Hayden Hudson. Thank you.